In this video, step by step, I'm going to show you how I actually unlocked my life as a teenager in record-breaking time. This ancient 3-step formula made me become the guy I needed to be to master my life in all realms. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how this method works and even how to steal some of our techniques to unlock your life too. I'm not going to be one of those gurus who gives you a 3-part video series only to sell you with a $499 course at the end. Inspiring others is genuinely my passion, and it would mean the world to me if this video inspired you in some way. This first ancient technique that I use to actually unlock my life is by far the most important, but it's also the most overlooked. When I was a kid, I tried to go viral by posting so many content on YouTube. I kept posting and posting and posting, Minecraft video over there, Roblox video over there, reaction video over there. But there was one problem. All of my content were absolute garbage. Thus, nobody liked the YouTube channel. My engagement rate literally died faster than NFTs in 2023. But when I upgraded my content, I got different results. I started to make more thumbnails. I started to edit my videos better. My videos started to get 100 views. And I had 75 subscribers on that channel. And so if I want different results in my life, I first have to upgrade my actions. And so for this first step, we'll be looking at the timeless wisdom of the Buddha. Basically, stop doing what you know is harmful. Let's say bad friends, let's say toxic people, let's say laziness. And start doing what builds self-respect, honesty, hard work, kindness. And it's also to surround yourself with good influence, wise, disciplined, and supportive people. But there's one problem. I already knew this stuff. This is common basic self-improvement advice. How did I actually put this into action? Well, every time I try to stop doing harmful habit, at the end, there's usually a drop-off. There's usually a mental breakdown when I've had enough of it already. Now, these days, I practically can't do some of the bad habits anymore because every time I would try to, every time I would get the urge to, that negative experience would just replay in the mind and it would stop me from doing the bad habit. And so there was one thing that kept me alive. There was one thing that kept me away from my bad habits. And it was shame. In fact, the Buddha says that shame is a noble treasure. It's something more valuable than gold or silver because it protects you from doing things that you'd later regret. But he also says that there's a difference between unhealthy shame versus healthy shame. Unhealthy shame is when you're insecure, when you're closed up, you know what the deal. Now, unhealthy shame is to be removed. But if people also remove healthy shame, it's going to create sociopathic society and chaos would ensue in the world, spreading not only to others but also to ourselves. So the next time I faced the consequence of a harmful habit, the next time I played that video game, I wrote down in vivid, extreme detail how I felt. Wrote it down on a journal, very, very extreme detail. I wrote down the guilt I felt. I wrote down the shame inside of my body. I wrote down the feelings that I was experiencing, the physical sensations, my heart palpitating. And in that journal, I also tried to convince my future self not to partake in that habit. I tried to show my future self the consequences of doing that harmful activity. So when my future self would read that later on, he would rethink before doing that activity. Every single time I got the urge to do a bad habit, that's what I read. The second is to take inspiration from the wise and the noble. Now, I watched talks of Thich Nhat Hanh, Christ, read Rumi, read the Buddha, and whatever action I would do, I would ask myself, would the wise and the noble partake in this action? And day by day, I started to work on putting away the acts of the ignoble on the people who are not noble and started to take up more and more of the acts that the noble people do. Third, failure is not bad. I failed a lot, and I still fail sometimes if I'm going to be honest. But as long as there is progress, that's fine. And me being on this journey is proof that there is already visible progress. In the Bible, Proverbs 24:16, it says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." And everything that I've just talked about directly ties into this next ancient technique. Do you ever scroll YouTube Shorts or YouTube and realize that 3 hours have just suddenly disappeared? Yeah, that's because your mind isn't yours anymore. It's been hijacked by TikTok, DeepSeek, and whatever else AI-generated content that you watch. And it's not just you that's hooked, because the people who make this, yes, the people that make this, they literally study on how to get the human mind hooked. I had to learn how to master my mind because if I couldn't, and especially in this day and age, someone else would take my mind, whether it be corporations, influencers, or even my own bad habits. They tell that you are free, that you have choices, but when every choice has been engineered to keep you hooked, is it really your choice? We are only free when we can see the cage that they have built around us. We are only free and we can transcend that. These days, there's so many influencers. Maybe they're trying to make money, but they're corrupting the minds of the youth. They're corrupting our minds. And we need to learn how to combat that. We need to learn how to not take that in. So that's why the second step that I use to my life is to master my mind. The Dhammapada states, the mind is difficult to control. Swiftly and lightly, it moves wherever it pleases. It is good to tame the mind, for a well-tamed mind brings happiness. I needed to take full responsibility for my thoughts, for my emotions, and for my actions. If I'm going to take this seriously, I need to have no excuses. I need to take full responsibility. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh likens mastering the mind to cultivating plants. If I water the seeds of unwholesome states like anger, that's what sprouts. On the other hand, if we water the seeds of wholesome states like peace and compassion, that is what will come of us. So how did I actually start to master my mind? I used two solutions, and this is found not only in Buddhism, but also in Hinduism. Bhavana, which means mental development, and Virya, energy and effort. Bhavana, mental development, I started to meditate 15 minutes every single day. And this is to train the mind to observe and let go of thoughts and emotions that are into them. To not impulsively react to them, but to instead look at them deeply with a deep awareness and to decide whether or not it is useful. And I also started to commit to become more mindful of my thoughts, speech, and actions in my day-to-day life. But bro, meditation without effort is not enough. And that's where Virya comes in. The Buddha said effort must be balanced, neither too relaxed nor too forceful. And so I found the perfect balance, and every single day, I challenged myself. Because a person only grows when he challenges himself every single day. Now, it's crucial not to miss this last step because this is the most important part of the journey. If you're here, welcome to the unfiltered section. If you're watching this video right now, you have top 1% attention span. I'm sure many other people have already left, but you're still here. So I want to talk, me and you right now, let's talk about some real shit. In an open world game, if you never accept a quest, you just start to wander around and start collecting random items, right? Life actually works the same way. Without a bigger mission, you're just grinding through daily tasks without much sense of accomplishment. And the worst part is that you weren't even mindful of the daily tasks that you were doing in the first place. One of the main reasons in the past why I spent all day doing shit was because I had no bigger mission in my life. That's why the third step of this video is to simplify and to find purpose. Instead of wandering impulsively, the Buddha encouraged setting a higher purpose. In fact, for the Buddha, his ultimate goal is Nibbana. And I'm sure we've heard of the Nibbana rock band, the Nibbana thing. This is Nibbana enlightenment, the ultimate thing. And Nibbana is complete freedom from suffering. Until then, he encouraged choosing a path that led to wisdom, peace, and compassion, rather than just collecting pointless items. And by items, possessions, titles, experiences that you do without any awareness at all. The way I set a higher mission in my life is first of all to simplify. Cut out all of the distractions in my life and cut out all of the hedonistic pleasure seeking, because I know that it's going to corrupt my mind instead of push it to new heights. And second, it's to focus on my higher mission. As of now, my higher mission is to make myself wiser and to share my learning lessons to you right now, to the world, and hopefully to make an impact on our planet. So that's how I actually my life quickly as a teenager. But all of the experiences that I've shared in this video will be completely useless if you don't put them into action. If you want to put this video to good use, click on the first link and down in the description right now for ensured accountability in our free Discord server. You'll see more of me, you'll see more value from me, and we also do weekly calls there. Everybody can share and it's just an open space. As always, live in the now, because tomorrow may never come. Bye-bye.